DJs BrewTube beer review. You know what, guys? I've been out doing the yard work today. I've been out in the garage sweating my ass off. You know that ain't my thing. But what is my thing is having a reward beer after I do said work because it puts a smile on my face. And where am I going to go to get said reward beer today? I'm going to go to Jester King Brewing out of Austin, Texas, US of A, yay, and I'm going to have their Petit Prince. Now, what is Petit Prince? Petit Prince is a farmhouse table beer, or Saison. It's a year-round serving. It's clocking in at a petite 2.9 ABV and 30 IBU, so it's a heavily hopped version of said table beer. Now, why do they call it a table beer? Because it was brewed at a low alcohol by volume strength back in the day in Europe, so it could take the place of water, because you couldn't drink the water back in those days. It would make you sick. So, it's water's stand-in. I kind of like water's stand-in as this. So, in this beer, they're using 99% organic ingredients. For hops, they're using organic, Goldings, Fuggles, and Pearl hops. And for malt, they're using organic Pilsner, and organic wheat malt. Now, the big deal with this beer isn't so much of the malts and the hops, because they're kind of, pedestrian and, normal, average, everyday type stuff. But in the fermentation, they're stainless steel for fermentation. They're putting some special yeast. What are they doing? They're putting their farmhouse yeast strain. They're putting a wild yeast strain from their area in Austin, Texas, so it puts a local signature on it. And they're using also Brettanomyces, or Brett yeast, so it's going to have that barnyard farmhouse funk going on. Now, if you don't know, Jester King's 100%, they call it attenuated brewery because it's all wild. And really, I think they're the only one that's 100% into that in Texas that I know of. But they went all the way for the funk. Back in the day when they started out, they were still making normal beers. Like I had Black Metal back there, and that's their farmhouse style, Russian Imperial Stout now. They used to use regular ale yeast, but once you go full funk, you got to stay there. So, enough flapping my gums. I'm going to get the top popped on this bad boy and hit this refreshing ass beer. So, how you saying, DJ? How'd you learn? Ooh, big hiss. Make sure it's not climbing up the neck on me. How'd you learn so much about this beer? Well, they put it right on the side of the bottle. There's no guesswork in this. It's easy. I like easy, especially when I'm drinking beer. So, this is an unfiltered, unpasteurized beer. So they say, ooh, nice fizzy carbonation. That's kind of like what I expected. I'll bet you this head will dissipate pretty quick, too. So, I like Saisons. It's a style that's really growing on me. I've always liked Hefeweizens, and this is probably, I kind of characterize them in that sort of same kind of class. Super refreshing, maybe not knock you out on the alcohol, but sometimes they are pretty dynamite flavor. So, let's get an appearance on this. It's a hazy, light yellow, golden color, sort of. It's got some brown tinges to it, but you can tell it's definitely unfiltered. We got a sparkling white head of super tight bubbles, little soap sudsy in the center there, but really gorgeous looking beer. I mean, to me, that looks refreshing to me. I like unfiltered beers. I've always liked Hefeweizens. So let's get a nose on this and see what's up. Wow. Big floral hops, sweetness like honey. A little bit of funk in there, like tartness in the background. It smells like sweet and tart combined. Maybe like a tart fruit smell, sort of. A little bit of pineapple, but man, the floral and honey notes are really big in the nose of this. Wow. It's a really nice smelling, like sweet but tart. You get like a aroma of sweet in your nose first, and then after that, as you take the rest of the breath in, it's got this like tartness to the background. It's hard to describe, but man, it's a really like bright floral honey kind of tart smell to it. Man, this is smelling tasty. It's making me thirsty. I'm diving in, guys. Cheers. Wow. Super easy to drink. Thin body. That's what impacted me the first. Thin, like water, which was nice glass slicing, by the way. Like water, which it was the stand-in for. You could quaff this bad boy all freaking day long. It's got a really nice floral, a bit grassy hop taste to it. There's not as much funk in it as you may think by all those like the farmhouse yeast and the wild yeast. There's actually a decent amount of sweetness to the body that's kind of balancing that out. And that's probably because it's a lower alcohol beer. It's got a dry finish, even though it's 2.9%, which is surprising. Very effervescent carbonation, washes the palate every time you drink it. But wow, this is a really like mega easy beer to drink. This is a beer I would love to have a few bottles of. It's really hard to get around here. I had to trade for it. Oh, by the way, I got this from my good buddy Texas Steve. Shout out to you, Steve, by the way. Thanks a million, my brother. Anyways, not to digress, but Really super quaffable. This would be an awesome lawnmower beer, sitting out by the barbecue in the sun beer. You don't have to worry about getting freaking destroyed while you're drinking this. I mean, you could pound a couple of these 750s and you'd be all right. I mean, well, I would be. Maybe you wouldn't. I would be. Anywho, the flavor is not as big as the aroma, but I'm drinking it. They suggest you drink this in this style glass, a Poco glass, at 50 to 55 degrees right here on the side of the bottle. And I think that's a proper temperature for it. It's got decent flavor, but I would almost go for a little bit more like funk and tartness. But I think the demographic or the market that they're producing this beer for this is meant to be sort of like a Swiss Army knife kind of beer to go with any meal, to go with kind of any situation. Man, if this was in cans, this would be an awesome canned beer. You know, that you could take to the beach and pound a sixer of and not have to worry about getting destroyed. And it's got way more flavor than a piece of crap adjunct lager at the same ABV. So, as you know, I've been on a quest to find really flavorful, you know, low ABV beers, and this is one of the best flavorful, most flavorful, low ABV beers I've had so far. So, what do we grade a beer like this? Rate Beer gives it an 87, which blows my mind because it's not a 9 or 10% beer. Usually, a beer this low ABV, they just trash. But hey, miracles never cease. Beer Advocate gives it an 83. I'm going to go more along the lines of Rate Beer. I'm going to give this a B+. I would drink this again. I would buy it again. It wasn't too expensive from what I know. But it's a really tasty beer that, for what it is exactly as advertised on the label. That's big for me these days. The more I drink beer, the more I'm impressed by when they put out a beer that's as advertised on the label, because that doesn't happen a lot. And the bigger this craft beer thing seems to grow, the less people seem to be meeting the expectation that they build for you on their label. So, I'll get off my soapbox now, and I'm going to give you a big thank you for watching DJs BrewTube today. You know, when you rate, comment, subscribe, and hit that like button, that rocks. And I also really like when you think globally, drink locally, and support the craft beer movement. So guys like Jester King will keep bringing cool-ass beers like this that we can quaff and not get destroyed when we pound a 750. That's freaking awesome. So, until then, I got nothing but a whole lot of love for you. And what? Damn. What? Oh, hell yeah, that's right. A big ass. Peace out.